What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Right before I get into this video, I want to remind you guys, if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to Too Raw for TV, please subscribe to Too Raw for TV. If you haven't hit that notification button, hit that notification button so that you'll be notified of any and every video that drops on my channel as soon as it drops. And if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button if you like or at least appreciate the content on my channel. These are things that help not only my channel, but other channels in the LDBC, the Lions Den basketball community, be that much better and that much stronger. If you want to support Too Raw for TV, if you want to show love for Too Raw for TV, if you can do so via the PayPal or the Cash App, if you choose to. If you want to support Too Raw for TV via the Patreon, you can do so in the link provided in the description box as well, for only $2 per month. And that's only $2 per month. On the Patreon, we talk about subjects I can't talk about on YouTube for obvious reasons. Social issues, politics, controversial topics, and topics that mean a lot to us. And I strongly implore that my supporters, those who truly support me, to come over to the Patreon, because YouTube is targeting smaller channels, and at any moment they can just terminate your channel at a whim because of a big lawsuit that they lost, and they're trying to find some way to recoup their losses. So hopefully our channel doesn't get taken down, and none of the channels in the Lions Den basketball community or the LDBC in its totality. Hopefully none of these channels get taken down, but YouTube will be terminating channels within the next couple of weeks because YouTube is YouTube. All right. But in this video, I want to talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Giannis right now, it's really quiet. It's really quiet about Giannis right now. All the MVP talk is about LeBron James, and he's having a spectacular season. Don't get me wrong. He's having a great season. And some people are talking about James Harden. Y'all know how I feel about him. And there's some talk about Luka Doncic, and that's legitimate talk, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hating on them at all. I think they should all be in a conversation. But I noticed there's not as much conversation this year as it was last year about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not as much talk about Giannis this year as it was last year, when he's, in actuality, having a better season than he did last year. And the numbers show it. Number one, let's just go to the numbers. Just go to the numbers alone. Last year, his MVP caliber season, all right, Giannis averaged a whopping 27.7 points. I think it was 12.5 rebounds. I believe it was 5.9 assists. And I want to say it was like 1.4 blocks, 1.5 steals, and he just had an awesome overall season. The Bucks won 60 games. The first time they won 60 games in almost 40 years, and they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. But this year, individually, he's been even more dominant. He's averaging 29.9 points per game, 13.9 rebounds, 6.4 assists, 1.6 steals, 1.4 blocks. And he's doing it in a year where, if you watch the Milwaukee Bucks, he probably should be leading the NBA in foul calls and free throw attempts. He should be leading the NBA in free throw attempts, not James Harden. He's been taking a pounding. Yeah, he shoots 11 free throws a game, but he should be shooting more like 14 free throws a game. He should be leading the NBA in free throw attempts, not James Harden. And like I said, and to allude and to go further with this point, unlike some of these other guys, he's not really playing with another legitimate all-star. Especially right now, Chris Middleton is questionable anyway. All right? Chris Middleton is a questionable all-star anyway. And we all know that Chris Middleton is damn sure not worth $35 million a year. But anyway, With Chris Middleton out with his vaginal injury, as 78 Sports TV said, with Chris Middleton out with his vaginal injury, and the team having lost Malcolm Brogdon, Giannis is having to carry a tremendous load this season on the offensive side of the ball, especially, as well as on the defensive side of the ball. And you can also make a point out that the Bucks are not as collectively having the same offensive start or have the same offensive punch that they had last season. I don't think they're shooting the basketball as well as they did last year. But because of the brilliance of Giannis Antetokounmpo as a basketball player, he has this team with, I believe, the second best record in the NBA at 13-3. As I've been telling you guys since the beginning of last year, I would say I think I started saying this since December of last year. This Bucks team is for real. Now, are they going to win a championship? I don't know. But it wasn't a fluke that they won 60 games last year. I was thinking that the Bucks may only win 53, 54 games this year, but barring an injury to Giannis himself, or a significant injury to Giannis himself, I think the team might actually win 60 games again or more. And the reason why I say that is because unlike some of these other teams, the Bucks have actually gone through or are going through the toughest part of the schedule now. Their schedule is going to start getting easier, especially the second half, I think, of the season. So for them to have the second best record now is a huge boon for them. And when they get Chris Middleton back, uh, they're going to be a problem in the Eastern Conference. But I have to reiterate this point, though. For Giannis to have this team in the position that they're in, with the lack of another true superstar or all-star or all-stars, is amazing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not trying to denigrate at all or lessen what LeBron's doing, but he does have Anthony Davis on that team, as well as Kyle Kuzma. James Harden, even though he doesn't utilize these guys at all, it's all about James Harden. He does have Russell Westbrook. And Kawhi Leonard, as great as he is, and he's the best player in the NBA, he does have Paul George, as well as the greatest sixth man in history, Lou Williams. And I don't mean as a disrespect to John Hondo Havlicek, but Havlicek played most of his career as a starter. So, and also it's not to denigrate Frank Ramsey, because he's the one who started that role with the Boston Celtics in the 1950s into the early 1960s until John Havlicek replaced him in that role. So big respect to Frank Ramsey and John Havlicek. On this channel, we show respect to the greats. All right, we do that on this channel. Unlike ESPN and these other entities who act like basketball just started back in 2000. But anyway, Giannis is having a tremendous season, and I think people need to talk about him a little bit more, man. I understand that last year, the last 4 games of that conference series, Giannis, some people say choked, but he was. This is what happens in basketball. The shit that James Harden was crying about, that's what happens. We saw in the finals when opposing teams, the opposing team, the Raptors, only had to worry about Stephen Curry. What did they do to him? The boxing won. They guarded the hell out of him. All right? Outside that 47-point explosion, he had a little trouble. When the Raptors pretty much just trapped Giannis, other guys didn't step up offensively. So, last year was a learning experience for Giannis. He's 23, 24 years old. People forget how young this guy is. He's going to use that as a learning experience. And this year, and from this point forward, when he's in these situations now, he's not going to press. He's not going to say he got to try to do everything. You know, you can't score against 3, 4, or 5 guys. You can't do that. All right, you have to slow down and let the game come to you. And I think Giannis in the playoffs this time will show maturity and experience and improve in situations where in the past he may not have shown that poise. Okay, so Giannis is improving overall as a basketball player. One area that I'm troubled with though is his free throw shooting. This year, Giannis is only shooting 59% from the foul line. He's been trending downward in his free throw percentage. A couple years ago, Giannis was up in the mid to upper 70 percentile. He was 76, 77%. He's getting to the foul line a lot, but he's starting to miss free throws. And that is some cause for alarm. But he is improving overall as a shooter. He's never going to be, this guy that's going to shoot 40% from three. But he is becoming a guy that can shoot a respectable 30%, 32, 33% from three. So it gets to a point where if he gets into a little rhythm, you have to respect him a little bit from outside. But that's not the meat and potatoes of his game. The meat and potatoes of his game is the force that he is in the paint. And that's what he does. And that's what he should, hallmark his game around. But I think Giannis is on his way to being the second greatest player in Milwaukee Bucks history. And if he plays long enough with his organization, he could even challenge and exceed, if he wins a title, especially with the Bucks, he could even challenge and exceed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Because we got to remember Kareem played, I think it was 6 years with the Milwaukee Bucks, and he won a title. And I think he went to 3 finals, I think it was. I think it was 3 final appearances with the Milwaukee Bucks, winning a title, of course, in 1970-71. And even Kareem, the great Kareem, had Oscar Robertson. So what Giannis is doing this season so far, with really no other all-star, is remarkable. So we got to put some respect on this man's name. Tell me what you guys think.